ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode. Not just another episode, the 150th episode of the M&K Productions podcast. I'm your host, Mac, joined here by my co-host with the most, Kristen, as I flicker my light. Please stay on for light, please. Thank you. Kristen, welcome back. It's our 150th episode. Oh my God.
Happy 150!
And it's not just 150, it's our annual Oscar special. And what better way to do our not only do our Oscar special, but our 150th episode by getting a guest that Kristen, you did the math. He's been on the most out of anyone we've ever had. That is
Yes.
crazy to me. The great Jackie K. Cooper is back to talk with us in the Oscars. Jackie, welcome back to the
The
show.
legend
Man.
is back.
Just can't get rid of me. I keep popping back up.
Yes. 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 We will. First of all, we will never get rid of you because you are such a sweetheart and we love talking with you. So thank you so much for celebrating with us our 150th episode and talking Oscars. Thank you so much.
Well, I am so proud of both of y'all. 150 episodes is not anything to sneeze at. That is an accomplishment, and I really am proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But Mac,
a tear to my eye real quick.
Aw.
That's been great. Yes, because like we hit 100 like 2 years ago, and like we 2 years later we 150. Like that's nuts, and we're not even halfway through 2025 yet. Like you know, as much as you know, another phase is gonna go by. We're gonna hit 200.
Yeah, we could get that this year or this point, maybe even next year.
Maybe, possibly.
Keep going.
That's amazing.
Well, we'll keep going strong because we got a huge day to celebrate. We're going to talk the Oscars. We're going to go over all the nominees and our predicted winners. We're going to go over the major categories that Mac and I decided to pick out. So we're going to go over the animated category, best director, the supporting category, acting category, leading acting category, and best picture category. So Mac, before we dive in, should we just get updated with our friend Jackie K. Cooper and let the audience know what he's been up to?
Yes, Jackie, what have you been up to since you come on here like you're like the yearly eclipse? You come and you just take over with your energy in the podcast. What have you been up to for the last year?
It's been I've had some health problems, but I'm recovering from those. But it's been a really good year. I've had a bunch of people that I've gotten to interview who have, I never thought I'd get to. I interviewed Scoot McNairy this year, and
that's wonderful.
I interviewed Jeremy Piven, which was just a highlight. And then I've gotten a lot of first-time people who wrote, directed, and starred in their movies, which just blows my mind.
That's fantastic. I gotta ask about Scoot McNairy because Scoot McNairy, if you all don't know, was in Speak No Evil, which was the remake starring James McAvoy, and he was also in Night Bitch, starring alongside Amy Adams. I have to know about that interview.
A complete unknown.
Yes.
Because it was so funny when I interviewed him, it was for Speak No Evil. And
okay.
He said, I'm in the Bob Dylan picture. And I said, oh, who do you play? And he said, I can't tell you.
Ooh.
And so I go to see the movie and I'm halfway through it. And I thought, oh my gosh, the guy in the bed, that's Scoot McNairy.
I saw him and went to go see it with my husband. He goes, oh, that's the guy from Speak No Evil. And I was like, yeah, that's Scoot McNairy. So I also have to ask, you worked on your top 10 movies for 2024. What was your favorite film? Or you can't reveal?
No, I can because I've already posted on my YouTube channel, but this is way from outside the box. And I hope both of y'all have seen this. My favorite movie of 2024 was My Old Ass.
Oh, I saw that recently. That was a good one.
I love that movie. Mac, had you seen it?
No, this is the first time what is it about?
Audrey Plaza, Maisie Stella. It's about a young girl who meets her older self.
Mm-hmm.
And what evolves from being able to talk to her older self as to how she's going to lead her life from her late teenage years, I guess it is, throughout life. And it's a comedy, it's a drama, it's everything.
it hits
Interesting.
home really hard knowing that the tragic news that she
Oh, that
lost her
movie.
husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't he the
Yeah,
director of that?
No,
Oh,
they worked together in the past, but
okay.
no, this is directed by a female and
Megan Park.
if you yes, Megan Park, and
Mhm.
if you ever saw the Fallout with Jenna Ortega, the movie about the school shooting and with Maddie
Mhm.
Ziegler,
Yeah.
that film is really good too. And I recently saw My Old Ass, and that it was just like I think like days before we heard about the tragic news, and then I was like thinking about the scene. Jackie, you probably know towards the end of the film where she's like having that emotional conversation with herself and then this other character. That scene like almost broke me knowing a few days later what had happened. I was like, oh my gosh.
Listen, it didn't have to wait a few days later. That scene in and of itself, I was just wasted watching.
Yeah.
I loved it. But
Yeah.
y'all are both too young, probably. But there used to be a TV series with Shailene Woodley
Yeah.
called Secret
Secret
Life,
Life of American Teenager.
and her best friend, Shailene Woodley's best friend in that was Megan Park.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I didn't even think about it because I wasn't allowed to watch the series because of the
You
subject
were
matter
too
of the time.
young.
I was way too young, but I knew about it and I knew about Shailene Woodley because she used to be about in the teen magazines I used to at least read. So did not know she was a part of
Megan
that.
Park was one of the big stars. That was, her. And then I lost contact with her, didn't know anything about her. And here she comes out. She wrote, directed this film, My Old Ass.
Besides My Old Ass being your favorite film of 2024, what movie surprised you of 2024?
Okay. And it was funny because the guy that my intern, Walker the intern, and I had a big discussion about this because he said, no, 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 that's a 2025 movie. And I said, no, it's a 2024 movie. It was called Better Man.
Oh, right. Yes.
Mm.
Robbie Williams. Yes.
I love that movie. And I know people who hated that movie. But that was a big surprise to me. I went to see it not knowing anything in advance, not even knowing that he was going to be an ape all the way through or look like an ape all the way through the movie. But it worked for me.
Do you
Yeah, people liked it.
do you
Yeah.
think the turnoff for a lot of people was because he was an ape? Because I know, just like observing Christmas, my stepbrother's fiance, the trailer came on for it during an NBA game, and she goes, "Is this a Planet of the Apes movie?" I'm like, "No, it's about the British singer Robbie Williams." I'm like, "Do you think maybe that concept was
It
because
really is
it didn't make any money?"
no, it made,
No.
but the funny thing is, Robbie Williams was never big in America.
No,
Mhm.
he never was.
He was only big in England. He was huge in England, but it never translated across the water.
Yeah,
But
I
Kitchen
haven't seen it yet, but I'm
was
gonna
my
definitely
favorite.
take your word it knowing that it was one of the films that definitely surprised you. I know a lot of other people have seen it. I just haven't seen it yet. Mac, do you want to see it?
I kind of do. My mom knows about Robbie Williams a lot. I like a lot of across the pond music and stuff like that. I may have heard some of his stuff before, but I just like the concept of like, I was like, why is he an ape? And I realized I'm like, okay, he doesn't see himself as, human. I think that's I mean, to make yourself stand out from a biopic, I think that's pretty interesting. So I do want to watch it.
Well, if you lock into the fact that you get the impression he grew up never thinking he was enough on his own. He had to do all these crazy things to get attention,
Mhm.
monkey shines or whatever. And that he saw himself as that outsider ape.
Gotcha.
And but the beauty of the movie is nobody ever says you look like an ape. It
That's
just
funny.
goes through the movie. That's the way he looks.
Okay, now I gotta ask your least favorite film
Oh,
for 2024.
what could I say about that? I did not like Nickel Boys. It wasn't the worst movie I saw because I thought the acting was good. But have y'all either seen that?
Yeah, I saw it
I
recently.
did not know.
Right. Kristen, what killed me in that movie was the cinematography.
Yes, I agree. I thought it to be an interesting choice, but I didn't love it. I understood why he did it as the director, but it didn't fit well. And our friend Dom, shout out to Talking TV, he put it as one of the worst movies of the year because he also thought the cinematography wasn't good, and he thought the whole film was so different because of the cinematography aspect.
Matt,
Yes.
that movie, this lamp, the camera would be on this lamp, and there would be two people over on this side of the room talking, but you just heard them. The camera was on the lamp, and then very slowly the camera would make its way over to where the two people were talking. Well, by the time it got over to them, I'm still on the lamp wondering what I was supposed to be seeing there. And it did that over and over and over.
Way up the movie. Was this a Tyler Perry movie with the cinematography? Good
This
God.
was like a director film where I feel like he put a lot of ambition into it. He was like, I think he was a journalist and then, or an author or something. I'm not 100% sure, but it was okay. I felt, it's not the strongest nominee that's listed because Nickel Boys is nominated for this year's Academy Awards.
No.
Yeah, I know, unfortunately.
Oh no. I wonder what
Most
that could be.
But
All right, what
but
was
were both of y'all crazy about Honora?
Oh, I love
That's
Honora.
great. That
That's
was one of
my
Christmas
girl.
top 10.
I
Yeah.
love her. I love
Ah,
Nike.
that was one of the most chaotic movies I have ever seen.
Oh, it's so good though. I just showed the film to my husband recently. He thought the first hour was good, and then he didn't like the last hour, which I could
That's where they
understand.
started chasing everybody, going through all those clubs.
Yeah.
But
I
I
mean,
really love the fact, and I can't call his name off the top of my head.
Sean Baker.
No, the one who got the Oscar nomination for Best Supporting
Oh,
Actor.
Yuri, I think how you say his
Yes,
name is.
Yuri. Oh my gosh, I was so glad they recognized how good he was in that movie.
Yeah. Did you see his reaction when he was nominated? He had his whole family in the car and they all were jumping up and down like surprised for him. It was so wholesome. It was so cute. If you haven't seen it, it's on Instagram. Very, very cute. But what was the most disappointing film you saw in 2024? Like one that you were very excited to see, and then you walked out of the theater, whether it be a screening you got invited to, or just a movie you went by yourself or with your lovely wife. What was the most disappointing film that you saw?
And Mac and I were talking about this before we came on about Gladiator.
Oh,
Gladiator was gonna hit all the right spots. You know, Paul
okay.
Mescal, Denzel Washington, whatever his name is. And I did think it was epic. I thought there were scenes that I loved in the Coliseum, the water flooding, having the boats come out in the Coliseum. But overall, the screenplay I did not think was good. Uh, the acting to me Denzel was great to me, but everybody else was just average. And I had such high hopes. That was a real disappointment because the first Gladiator was just, triumphant. It did it all. But Gladiator 2, though it was epic, it failed in other categories.
I like Denzel Washington a lot. We talked about the second Gladiator film.
He was just playing Denzel, and I loved it. It was awesome.
Yeah. And we both agreed about Denzel. He was the best part.
Jackie, so if they went with the original idea for the sequel when they had not Gerard Butler, I keep confusing them, Russell Crowe, having him be reincarnated as an immortal god going through the centuries, do you think that may have made Gladiator 2 a much better film than what we got?
I don't know. That sounds really far out there, but I heard people clamoring about we want Russell Crowe back, however we can get him.
Well, we're getting a Gladiator 3.
Is there really going to be a Gladiator 3?
Yeah.
Well, is Ridley Scott going to do it too?
I'm sure he's attached in some way. So let me just double check real quick. But I saw something.
Paul Mescal's character
is planned for a sequel. Expected to explore the historic context and complex characters from the previous film. Paul Mescal is expected to reprise his role as Lucius. Uh, but yeah,
Yeah.
uh, Gladiator 3 is expected to be released in 2026 or in 2027. No release date has been confirmed.
Are they actually gonna film it in time this time? Because didn't Gladiator 2 have like last second reshoots? And we were like, this isn't gonna go well.
I don't remember if they did. I'm sure there were, but we'll just see what time tells. But Mac, are we ready to get into Oscars? I'm happy you saw some
I still
hopefully
want to
good
hear your
movies.
favorite movie of last year.
Oh, mine was Nora.
Aha! There we go.
Well, first of all, I have to acknowledge it because Sean Baker is actually a filmmaker from Jersey, and
I love Sean Baker. I love
me
the Florida
too.
movie. The Florida movie he did was one of my all-time favorites.
I think that one is good. I love Red Rocket though. I love that one a lot. Like that one is that just love what he did with that. And knowing that like seeing his throughout the career, like he became like more of a known person when I was like in high school. So knowing him like watch his career and just seeing over the last few years makes me proud of him. And just like as a Jersey person, I'm like, oh yeah, this is the guy that we're all gonna know at some point where he's from the state that we're in, you live in, and then you're gonna go, this represents. And I feel like what he does is just so out of the or not the norm, and he dares to explore something, topical. So, but my least favorite, of course, for 2024 was Madam Web.
That masterpiece. That should have been nominated for an
Oh,
Oscar.
yeah, Dakota Johnson.
Yes,
I
Dakota
love her.
Johnson.
I do, but that movie, I
Yeah.
agree. But I had already asked Mac what his favorite was when we were off camera, and he said Fall Guy.
Yes, I love
Yes.
that movie.
That movie, what was it though? Why wasn't it the big hit everybody thought it was going to be?
Probably
Yes.
that. You go ahead, Kristen.
No, go ahead, Mac.
I thought about that too because I was like going through my top 10 list. I'm like, wow, it barely broke even. I think there's a couple of reasons. The first one I'll say is that people were still gearing up for Deadpool Wolverine because I knew people who didn't see anything over the summer and they were just waiting for that. And then you have people who were already tired out from Dune before. So you had those people. And like, it came out like, I'm not going to say May is like a dead month to release a summer blockbuster movie, but it's like not at that point where everyone's free, like, work vacation and school. So it's still right before Memorial Day, before like the real vacation starts. And then by the time it really started getting traction, July hit and it was already, Deadpool Wolverine. And just,
Yeah.
I think the competition was just too high for it. And, I think the concept was probably a little bit out there for some
That's what
people.
I think where it
Yeah.
landed. The concept wasn't because it's made for like people who love film
Yeah,
and who studied film and just really fans who are like Ryan Gosling fans. It's not
That was his
really,
first thing since Barbie, though. I thought they would be flocking in to see him.
yeah. I think it was just that reason because it wasn't a high interesting concept to like to like normal
Normies.
audiences.
Yeah.
But I love the Fall Guy. I love the Fall Guy. It was in my top 10.
And my dad loved it too. He grew up with the TV show and he was telling me about, yeah, like Lee Majors is in the
Yeah.
original one. He was having fun with it and he loved it too. And he's like, I took him to go see the Nicolas Cage movie. He didn't like it because he didn't get out of the meta comedy. I'm like, Dad, shut up. This is for me. And he realized that the Fall Guy was for me too. And I love the Fall Guy.
But anyways, are we ready to talk some Oscars? Are we ready to get into all the nominees and all of our predictions?
Yes. Let's do it.
Yes.
Alrighties, Mac, should we get Best Animated Feature out of the way?
Yes.
There are some good nominees listed.
Yes, you know me, I'm the animation nerd on this show.
Mhm.
So the nominees we got for animated feature film, we have Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and The Wild Robot. Now, I'm gonna start this off. One thing that I have not talked about a lot, well, I've talked about numerous times on these 150 episodes. I love aardman animation. I love claymation. I like stop motion. Seeing Wallace and Gromit movie being nominated for an Oscar damn near brought a tear to my eye, especially with the original voice actor of I think Wallace, he passed away in 2016, and the comedy just works. And the fact that they're like, yeah, we're gonna get another one, and it's on Netflix. I watched it. Awesome. If I did my list again, that'd probably be in the top five. Although I want that to win, I'm gonna say probably it's a tie between Flow or Wild Robot, with Inside Out being the black sheep.
You know me, I loved Flow. Uh, and I saw the Wild Robot recently and had the biggest, ugliest cry I've ever had.
Oh,
Yeah, but it was a good cry. It was a good cry, not a sad cry, but it was a good cry. Uh, I think it's gonna go to Flo. Jackie,
I,
what do you think is gonna win?
I'm gonna stick with Wild Robot.
Did you enjoy the
Not
Wild
only-
Robot?
I loved everything about Wild Robot. I did. It's my number 2 favorite movie of last year. The animation, the story, Lupita Nyong'o's voice was perfect for Roz, the robot. Everything that I wanted it to be. And I know Flow is good, and it's gotten a lot of awards, and I'm afraid it's gonna cancel Wild Robot out. But Wild Robot is my pick.
Did you see Flo?
Yeah, and I liked it a lot.
And how about the other nominees? Did you think they were just good? Like,
I saw Wallace and Gromit. I'm not that big a claymation fan.
Mhm.
My wife thinks Inside Out 2 was one of the best movies she's ever seen. I liked it. I didn't love it like that. And Memoir of Snell, I thought was good. Wasn't great.
You know what? Inside Out 2, I'm gonna say this, and this is controversial. So if you want to unsubscribe now, you feel free to. Inside Out was not that good, in my opinion.
It was good, but it wasn't that good.
Yeah, it wasn't like will still say that the first one I think is like one of the best Pixar films of the 2010s. And like I was like, man, I mean, a sequel makes sense because over time you grow up and you develop new emotions. But I'm just like, I watched and I'm like, I'm not really feeling that impact that I was like during the first one. It was good, but it just didn't hit the same.
I can agree to that.
I will tell you, my wife told me, she said, the reason you didn't like it as much as I did because you never were a teenage girl.
That's a great way to put it.
So she said, you don't know what it's like to feel all those emotions, blah, 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 blah. But anyway,
I liked the new emotions. I really liked the purple one, I think he's embarrassed, right? The big purple one. I think he was my favorite. But yeah, I think it's gonna go to Flo. Mac, you said did you say Flo?
I said probably Wild Robot.
Wild Robot.
But
right.
Inside Out 2 may be the black sheep because the Academy is like, we didn't see the other movies. Here you go, Pixar. We'll give you this anyway because you're the most popular one.
That's fair. And then Jackie, you also agreed with Wild Robot. Alrighties.
All the way.
Alrighties. Let's move on to the category of Best Supporting Actress.
We should write down our predictions to see if we get like our percentages to see like who's right or stuff.
I already have all my nominees down. I did it today.
Okay, good. I was like, I think I might do the same thing. I want to see our percentage. But you said supporting actor or actress?
Actress.
Okay, actress. Let me go there real quick.
Okay. All right. We have Monica Barbaro from A Completely Unknown. We have Ariana Grande from Wicked, Felicity Jones and The Brutalist, Isabella Rossellini from Conclave, and Zoe Saldana from Emilia Perez. So, knowing that Zoe Saldana has been crushing it this award season, I think it's going to go to Zoe Saldana. But given the controversy that the film has now had, I saw a website say that Ariana Grande could take the win. But I think it's just going to go to Zoe, knowing that she's been a key player in Hollywood for years. I think it's going to go to her regardless of the controversy the film has garnered. Jackie, what is your predicted winner?
I watched Emilia Perez. Zoe Saldana was good. She did the musical numbers good. She did the acting good. But at the end of the movie, I knew nothing about her character.
Okay.
If she was a lawyer, she handled different things. but I never, and that's the screenplay. It's not her fault. She did the best with what she got. I do think she will be impacted by the, scandal of the tweets that the main character had in her past. I'm
Mhm.
thinking, I don't know. I'm thinking that, well, I think there's a chance. I know this is crazy that they give it to Isabella Rossellini. Or, yeah, that's her name. Even though she only had like 5 minutes in the movie. But my prediction is Zoe Saldana, but I think Isabella Rossellini is the dark horse.
That's a good pick. I loved her in Conclave. I think she was my favorite performance in Conclave. Did you enjoy Conclave?
I liked it. It wasn't on my top 10 list.
No, I agree too. I joke around with everybody. I say it's like Mean Girls, but in the Vatican.
Yeah.
Mac, who do you think is gonna win?
Listen, besides the whole fact of like a month ago, I would have said Zoe Saldana, but seeing how Amelia Perez has, in wrestling terms, turned heel and just everyone's bullying it now, we're forgetting the real kind of obvious winner, and that's Ariana Grande because she's gonna take it. Because let's face it, Ariana Grande has been in Hollywood since Victorious, been about like 10 years now, and she's big on the music scene and everything. And what's a good way to kind of jumpstart your acting career than by winning a best supporting actress in like one of the most successful movies last year and your part two of your sequels coming out later this year? So what's a better way to build that hype up more? I think Ariana Grande is going to win it.
Knowing we're getting part two this year, if she doesn't win this year, she has a really strong chance to win next year.
I
Because
agree. Yeah.
it's obviously going to get I have a feeling it's going to get nominated again, even if if it's not as strong as the first. There's an audience and critics who love it. So,
And I think there are some people who think, well, I've only seen half the movie. So I'll wait till I see the whole movie to vote for.
yeah. Did
Yeah.
you enjoy Wicked,
I
Jackie?
did. I did.
I did too.
I thought it was stretched out a little. I've seen the play 3 times.
Oh my goodness.
The play's like 2.5 hours at most. Not, this first movie was what, 2 hours and 45 minutes for the first half or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I enjoyed, Cynthia Erivo,
Arrivo, yeah.
and I thought Ariana Grande was grande. Uh, but I don't know. I just think people are holding back on that film. But John Chu won the Critics' Choice Award for
he
Best
did.
Director, and nothing else
Yeah, he's not nominated,
for Oscar.
unfortunately,
No.
this year for the Oscar. Hopefully next year, since he didn't get nominated. And Denis, we'll talk about that later, was robbed for a nominee. But yes, we got, from the sounds of it, we got two voting on Ariana Grande. No, you said Isabella Rossellini. Jackie.
So I think
Zoe, right?
Yeah, Zoe Saldana is gonna win. I just think that her closest competition could be Isabella Rossellini.
Okay, gotcha. So we got 2 for Zoe and Mac, 1 for
Yes.
Ariana. All righties. Mac, do you want to take on Best Supporting Actor?
Yes. So for best supporting actor, we have, I'm sorry if I butcher any of these names. We have Yora Borisov in Nora, Kieran Culkin in A Real Pain, Edward Norton in A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce in The Brutalist, and Jeremy Strong in The Apprentice. Yes. Good God, I can't talk tonight.
It's okay. You said Yora's name right. I had to apologize. I mispronounced it earlier. So you did a good job, Mac.
Yay.
But I must say it's brother versus brother from Succession. Mac, who do you think is going to win?
I have a personal favorite. I kind of want Edward Norton to win. I think he's been killing it. I thought he was awesome in The Complete Unknown. Kind of a good way to stick it to Marvel since you want to use, replacement hope, but it's neither here or there. But as much as I want Edward Norton to win, I wouldn't be surprised if they give it to Kieran Culkin because A Real Pain has kind of come out as like that strong film for 2024 that everyone's talking about. My manager at work is like, oh, he's a big film buff. He goes, have you seen A Real Pain? I was like, oh, no, not yet. He's like, oh, it's on Hulu. And that being on Hulu right now, I think was a good timing for that because that's a very, this is Jesse Eisenberg. He wrote that script, right?
Yeah, he wrote it. This is his second film he's directed.
I think that
been directed, yeah.
I think that Kieran Culkin pulled in a great performance, and him winning a Golden Globe. I mean, I know Golden Globes don't have a perfect history of like you win that award, you win the Oscar, but I'm kind of confident he'll probably take this one, Kieran Culkin.
He's been kind of crushing it like Zoe and getting it in every single award that's out there that could be
Mhm.
nominated. He just won the BAFTA. So, Jackie, who do you think is going to win?
Kieran Culkin all the way. That's the one selection I feel the most confident in.
I,
I thought he just tore it up. And I had just come off of watching all of the seasons of Succession, in which he is just fantastic. And if you haven't seen him in that, it's a great show.
I'm a huge Succession fan. Love, love, love that series. I also agree it's going to go to Kieran. I knew him from a year ago when I saw it at Sundance. Then I knew that Kieran is definitely going to be talked about at the next Oscars. And knowing that he is, it's no surprise to me because he's so talented. But if I
And
do have to
Kristen,
pick
his career is in the right place at the right time.
it is. That's very true. It's very, very true. But I do want to acknowledge a favorite. I love Jeremy Strong in The Apprentice. I saw The Apprentice and
Another
I was
Succession
so
person.
surprised how good that film was.
Yeah.
I was very surprised. Like, I could not get over that. But I also wanted to acknowledge I do love Yura, but I don't think he's going to win. I do think it's going to go to Kieran. Guy Pearce was also very good.
Yes.
So, and The Brutalist. Did you enjoy The Brutalist, Jackie? Could you enjoy that 3-hour movie?
No, I went into it, thinking again, this is going to be an epic story, overcoming and da 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 da. And it just went this way and that way and skipped in time and did this and did that. And it left me wanting more.
Yeah. Do you
Even
think
at
it needed to
2.5
be?
hours, I was wanting more. I wanted more of the character. I wanted
Yeah.
to be more fleshed out.
Yeah. Do you think it needed to be 3 hours?
No, no.
That's what my husband said. He's like, is this film gonna wrap up at some point?
I just think, there was too much time, if you're showing a movie that is character driven, and that movie to me was character driven, then show the characters and the interchange between the characters. Don't spend it on drawing buildings on paper and oohing and eyeing over that. And
Well, anyway,
this is just me. Where did that rape sequence come from?
oh yeah, Mac, you haven't seen it yet. There's a
Oh.
rape sequence that comes in. Mac, I don't think you're gonna see it, right?
What movie is this?
The Brutalist.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a scene that involves spoiler alert to anybody who hasn't seen it, that involves Guy Pearce and Adrian Brody in the film.
Okay.
I was not expecting it. I was like, oh, okay.
And
was it a artistic expression or
no, it was
Okay.
it was a character decision where the one you could say both. No. Do you think, Jackie, the one character was intoxicated? Because not Adrian Brody,
yes,
but the Guy Pearce. Or do you think they both were? Because I can't.
I think they both were.
Yeah.
But they did nothing to set that up. There was no lingering glance from Guy Pearce to Adrian Brody. It was nothing set that up. It was just like, where did that come from?
There was a party that happens people get together and they drink, and then all of a sudden Adrian Brody is like too drunk, and then it just escalates from there. And it was just like, so I agree. It was kind of out of pocket, and I did not see that coming. You'd say you could have cut that out, but
they wonder why Hollywood gets under so much scrutiny for just weird stuff like that. So someone wrote that and they just said, yeah, let's put that in the movie.
Brady, I think it was Brady.
Yep, no one was like, yeah, no, just no. Just like the scene in Joker.
Well, if we're gonna do that, then we need to add something in the early part of the film to build why that happens. I don't know. Didn't.
Yeah.
We had 3.5 hours to tell the story, and then you just have that pop into the film. I didn't understand that.
righties. That is best supporting actor. On another note, as we wrap that up, we all agree Kieran Culkin's going to take it.
Yes.
Let's move on to best actress. We have Cynthia Erivo in Wicked as the iconic Elphaba. We have Carla Sofia Gascon from Amelia Perez. We have Mikey Madison in Anora, and Demi Moore, The Substance. Oh, and Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here. Jackie, let's start off with you this time. Who do you think is going to win Best Actress?
I watched an interview yesterday. I had the TV on and I just kind of walked by and this guy was interviewing this young actress and very soft spoken, very calm, blah, 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 blah. And I sat down and I thought, oh gosh, this is nice. And then she said, yes, I wanted to, bring my best to my performance as Annie. And it was Mikey Madison.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I would have expected her to be like Annie in Anora. It really showed how much she did act.
She's a great actress.
That performance to life. But I hadn't seen any interviews with her before. I didn't know who she was before. I know she was in Scream and some other stuff, but I'd never been aware of her. I think Mikey Madison could steal it, but I think Demi Moore is on a roll. She's got the backstory. She's got that acceptance speech at the Golden Globes, which was the best speech of the night. Got Hollywood sentimentality going for her. And she was dadgum good in The Substance.
Yeah, she was.
I think she'll win.
To bring up the other thing about Mikey Madison, she got her role. She didn't audition for it. Sean Baker wrote it for her after seeing her performance in Scream and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Isn't that insane?
Which is amazing because they weren't major roles in those films.
No, they were supporting roles.
Yes.
She was Ghostface. I feel like that's a major thing. But Mac, who do you think is going to win?
I want to go to Demi Moore because she killed it in The Substance, and I love that movie. So, although it would be kind of cool to see Mikey Madison win because it'd be kind of interesting that the first two things I've seen her, she was brutally murdered in both multiple ways. Yeah. So, like, you truly made it in the industry, Mikey. But no, you did a good job in Nora. But I'm gonna have to give it to Demi Moore. I think she killed it in The Substance.
Yeah, I agree. Right with you,
Y'all
Mac.
three in agreement?
Yep,
that's so.
I agree. Demi Moore is going to take it. She's been killing it. It was kind of a tough pick to win because I think going into this, it was either going to be Mikey or Demi. But knowing it's been kind of Demi Moore steamrolling this award season, I think she's going to take it. But Mikey did win the BAFTA as of this recording for her performance in Anora. But yeah, we're all in agree. Demi Moore is going to take it for her performance in The Substance. All righties, Matt.
I was surprised that she'd never been nominated. I think I read that she'd never been nominated before.
No, she was never nominated, and I always thought she was.
Sure, she was nominated. I thought for sure she was nominated for Ghost.
That's what I thought. But then Whoopi Goldberg was nominated for Ghost.
Won.
Yeah, she did. Mac, are you ready to talk Best Actor? I almost said supporting actor again.
Yes, so Best Actor, we have Sebastian Stan in The Apprentice, Ralph Fiennes in Conclave, Coleman Domingo in Sing Sing, Timothy Chalamet in A Complete Unknown, and Adrian Brody in The Brutalist.
All right, Mac, who do you think is going to win?
I've heard rumblings on the internet that Sebastian Stan might take it, and I don't know why. I think The Apprentice is very overrated. I did not like it. It was very boring.
Okay.
It's just me. But to be honest, I think Adrian Brody might take it. He's kind of had a renaissance, I'd say, in his career because it mostly started in Winning Time when he was Pat Riley. So he got a few Emmys for that. And him just doing all this in this movie, The Brutalist, kind of taking up all the award seasons, he might get it. Although, don't count out Timothy Chalamet because he delivered one of the most underrated performances last year as Bob Dylan because that movie came out without a fanfare and then it just took over near December. Like everyone was talking about. I was like, oh yeah, they released it just with no fanfare. I remember they're saying, yeah, Timothy Chalamet is gonna be Bob Dylan, and then I heard nothing else about it. And then they released. I was like, okay, and then I forgot this man's gonna be Bruce Springsteen. But I think Adrian is gonna take it, but it might be a black sheep with Timothy Chalamet.
Jeremy Strong is going to play Bruce Springsteen.
I thought it was Timothy Chalamet.
No.
Oh, whoops.
This is a big movie that's filming in Jersey. I know that.
For the bear.
Yes, it is Jeremy, not Jeremy Strong, Jeremy Allen. Sorry. Excuse
Oh,
me.
okay. Oh, my boy from Shameless. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, there's a big movie happening in Jersey. It's like everywhere. This filming for that. Jackie, who do you think is gonna win?
I'm gonna agree with Mac. I think Adrian Brody's gonna win it. But I will tell you, I thought that Coleman Domingo and Sing Sing was just unbelievable.
Yes.
I really did. I give props to Timothy Chalamet because he sang, his own songs as Bob Dylan. But Coleman Domingo was fantastic. I didn't think that movie's gotten enough attention. It was in my top 10 list. But I do believe that, again, Steamroller has started and Adrian Brody is going to go. And this will be, if he wins, it'll be his second Oscar.
Yes, it will be.
For a relatively unknown actor. And I mean, I've said, to people, they say, what's a brutalist? And I start telling them, I say, Adrian Brody's, and they're like, who's that?
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Y'all are too young again, but did you ever hear about when he won his first Oscar?
Yes,
for the pianist.
The pianist.
And what happened when he got it?
Tell me, because I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know, actually.
Halle Berry presented the award, and nobody in their right mind thought that Adrian Brody was going to win.
Really?
And he was up against. And she announced Adrian Brody. He was so shocked, he jumped out of his seat and almost went into the stratosphere, ran up on stage, grabbed Halle Berry around the waist, bent her back, and planted a kiss on her that lasted for 5 minutes.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That is something you would see like in a movie. I remember him winning,
amazing.
but I never knew what happened. So
it was perfect. And Halle Berry was so gracious about it. I mean, it was like he was just going to kiss somebody. He was so excited he was going to kiss somebody. And he kissed her, and she stepped back, and then they walked together off stage after he gave his speech. I'm thinking, Adrian, who will he kiss this time?
Yeah.
He'll kiss Sky.
We'll find out. For me, I think it could go to Adrian Brody, but I don't know, because there's been talk about the AI used in the film.
I know, but it didn't get the flack that I thought it would.
Yeah, it did not. But going forward for the Oscars, the film needs to be stated that like AI was used for future purposes. I agree, Jackie. Coleman Domingo for Sing 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 was stellar. I saw
Terrence Macklin, who he should have been in there for supporting actor.
I agree. Coleman Domingo is fabulous in Sing Sing Sing. And shout out to the directors of the film, Greg Cuiar and Clint Bentley, who were on our show many, many years ago.
Yes.
Hey, look at y'all.
Yes, they were talking about the jockey, and now they were getting ready to film Sing Sing, and they didn't tell us what the project really was, but they were getting ready to work on it, and now here they are, nominated for Oscars. Not they're not nominated, but with the nominated film that they say they worked on. But yeah, I also really like Sebastian Stan as Donald Trump. I was so surprised with that performance, regardless what people think. But I do think it's going to go to Adrian Brody. But Ray Fiennes, who knows? He's also a favorite, I think, amongst Hollywood, and why not to give it to him?
Did I tell you? No, go ahead, Kristen.
Go ahead. I was done.
Did I ever tell you the story of how when I was watching the menu, I didn't know that was Voldemort?
Really?
I did not know Ray Fiennes was Voldemort. We're watching him. I was like, you know what that is, right? I go, no. And she goes, look him up. I looked at him like, that's Voldemort? Like, I never knew that. I didn't put that together. I'm like, wow. In my head canon is that, you know, he didn't die after Deathly Hallows. He reincarnated, became Chef Slowick, and he made this restaurant. He still holds a contempt for that damn boy with the glasses, and he makes food, and he's pissed constantly. That's my head. I didn't know that. I didn't know Ray Fiennes was Voldemort for all these years.
He's also M. Gustav in Grand Budapest Hotel too. The
Yes.
iconic Grand Budapest Hotel.
Oh my gosh.
He's
I was
he's
just
a good actor. He's solid in, comedy, drama, the whole thing.
But yeah, we all agree. Adrian Brody is going for that second Oscar. All right, now we move on to Best Director.
yes, the role that is you know, there's some opinions I have on this.
Yeah, we're gonna go over that.
So
you want to give out the nominees?
Oh yeah, I can do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So best director we have Anora from Sean Baker, Brady Corbett, I'm sorry, for The Brutalist, James Mangold for Completely Unknown, Jacques Diard for Amelia. Jaco Diard. And The Substance we have Coralie Fargeat.
That's close enough.
Okay. Man, James Mangold, am I right? What a turnaround. He went from a disaster, which was the Indiana Jones and the Dial of Disaster, to a Bob Dylan movie. So good for him. But obviously, there's somebody missing here. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He's a pretty indie director. His name's Dave Villeneuve. He hasn't really done anything big. He did Dune Part 2, and that's really it. You know, it's just weird that he's just not on there. But you know, we're not the Academy, so we don't get, you know, in charge of this. But I think I'm gonna go with probably Sean Baker might take it, even though I think Jackus might take it for Emilia Perez as like a dark horse.
Jackie?
I'm gonna go with Corbett. The Brutalist.
I agree. I also agree with Corbett. And
everything has been focused. I mean, Brody, there's been a lot of talk about the performance in there, but I haven't had another movie that everything I've read has focused so much on the directing that movie. And he's hit a bunch of other awards that he's gotten. And it was a movie that technically had some great spots to it. And did he write it?
Yes, he did. There was two people. It was him and Mona. I forgot the last name. Whoops, didn't need to click on that. It was Mona Basfold. I think that's how you say her name. Yeah, but yeah, it was just him and this other person.
So I just think that he's the one who's going to like it. Even though I would like to see Sean Baker, because I'm a big fan of his directing, you know, sneak in there, but I don't think he will.
I do think Anora will win some type of Oscar. I don't know if it's going to be for Sean's directing, but right now I'm saying Corbett. But I think at the beginning with all of award season, I think most of us thought Jacques Audiard was going to win, but I think at this point, he doesn't stand a chance. But Sean Baker did win the GGA the other day, and that's a huge, huge win. So it's a tough race between those two, but I'm happy to see The Substance also get a nomination. But I think we're in agreement, aside from Mac, that Brady could win. All righties.
Has Mangold ever been Oscar nominated?
That's a good question. Let me look it up real quick.
I don't think so.
Because I know that none of the others have been nominated before, and I didn't know if Mangold.
But Mangold has worked on a lot of other films. It was just funny because, like, I was talking to my husband about it, and I was like, you know, he worked on Walk the Line, right? You know, like, because A Complete Unknown had Johnny Cash. He worked on a film about Johnny Cash, you know, and I was explaining that to my husband. He goes, really? And I was like, yeah. And I did not really like A Complete Unknown. I have my deep thoughts about that.
I felt like at the end of A Complete Unknown, it lived up to the title because I knew even less about Bob Dylan at the end than I knew at the start.
Yeah, I did not really like the film. I thought Timothée Chalamet was just mid. I think his best performance I've ever seen him in was Dune Part 2.
So it looks like that this may be the first Best Director nomination for Mr. James Mangold, but every film he's worked on, from Girl Interrupted, Kate Leopold, Walk the Line, 310 to Yuma, Logan, Ford v Ferrari, somehow Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and A Complete Unknown have been nominated for some type of Academy Award.
I think he should have been nominated for Ford and Ferrari years ago.
I love that movie.
That's a stellar film, and I think he
Or
should have been
Logan.
nominated then.
God, I did. I thought that was a great movie. And
It's a great movie. Stellar cast.
yes.
Very underrated. But yeah. Anyways, as we wrap up this category, we're gonna say Brady Corbin. Mac, you're saying
Sean Baker.
Sean Baker. I hope you're right. I'll be so happy if you're right on this
Shout out to
one.
New Jersey.
Shout out to Peron, New Jersey. I'll be screaming if he wins. Alrighties. Best Picture. Mac, I'll announce the first 5 movies, and then you can list off the last 5 movies.
Okay.
All right. So the 10 nominees for Best Picture include Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2.
Then
Mac.
we have Amelia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked.
Okay. Jackie, you're the guest of honor. Who do you think will take home the Best Picture win?
This is one I'm just stabbing in the dark, because I don't think it's going to be Amelia Perez. I think its time came and left. I think there are a lot of people who love Anora, people here on this panel. But I think there are a lot of people who just didn't get it.
Yeah.
And so I think out of the blue, and this is a wild stab, I think out of the blue, Conclave's going to take it.
Really?
Oh, that's a good choice. There's a lot of critics and audiences who love it. I mean, Film Independent just did a huge panel of a live reading of Conclave. I would love to say, I first thought Amelia Perez was going to take it, knowing, the award season hype. But I'm kind of torn between Anora and The Brutalist. But I think right now at this point, I'm going to say Anora, but don't count out Conclave. I think that's a good acknowledgement. Mac, who do you think will take Best Picture?
Well, me being the degenerate gambler that I am, the odds for Amelia Perez were high until about 2 weeks ago, where Anora became the front runner to win Best Picture. So I'm going to put my money on Anora. Anora has sneakily come up as a lot of people's favorite to go. Although personally, I'd love it to go to probably. I'm probably gonna, out of all these categories, I think if Dune wins Best Picture, that would be so funny.
I think it would be epic.
Danae could go up. It's like, I don't need your Best Director. I got the best film here. Suck it. And then, but it probably, maybe, I don't know. Maybe Dune might win. Dune's not gonna win. It'll probably. I'm probably gonna Anora, but it'll probably be like The Brutalist or something.
Yeah.
So we got 2 Anoras and 1 Conclave.
Yeah. But I would also love to see, though, if I could give it to The Substance, I would, because the more I think about it, the more I love it more and more. And I'm just like, this was so daring. It was so fresh and so unique for horror comedy, and just mostly horror. But, it's a rare thing that horror gets nominated
Absolutely.
at the Academy Awards. So I would just love to see it. I mean, you could say the last kind of horror movie that won was Silence of the Lambs. So yeah, it would have been so cool. But knowing Wicked is nominated here, I think Wicked could win next year. At least Part 2 could, because then they'll acknowledge that.
I think the people who would vote for Wicked, some of them are saying, I haven't seen the whole movie yet.
Yeah. They're not saying it's a complete
movie. It'd be like that, though.
All right.
Never know.
Really ruins a Monday. Really ruins a Monday.
All righties. But yeah, that's gonna conclude our Oscar predictions for this year's Academy Awards. Let us know in the comments down below on what you think will take home the Academy Awards. Jackie, thank you so much for joining us on our Oscar journey once again. discussing all the nominees. You were so lovely to have on.
It's
It's
so much
so
fun. It's
great.
so much fun. I love talking movies. I love to talk movies with people who love movies as much as I do. So y'all are so great to keep inviting me. And I know that we'll all be doing the same thing on March the 2nd, watching the show to see if we were right.
This is our Super Bowl.
This is our Super Bowl.
Agreed.
Jackie, are you gonna have your steak dinner?
I'm going to have my steak dinner.
Hell yeah.
Right there in front of the TV. And I hope, who is it? Who's the host?
Conan O'Brien.
O'Brien.
Finally.
Coco.
Finally he's
We'll see.
hosting.
And are they still having the controversy over whether or not they're going to have the nominees for best song performed?
No, they're not gonna do the nominees
They're
performed.
not going to do it. I don't understand that.
I just think that knowing Amelia Perez has two, it just makes that look bad, you know, showing them dance, and then they want to make sure it ends on time so that way people can have longer speeches, you know. I think we're gonna get at least some kind of musical performance, maybe in memorial, but we might get another kind of performance, you know. At least maybe something that combines like a bunch of movies that were in the year of 2024. Something is going to happen.
Seeing the musical numbers, from the movies.
Did you know they're also not going to do like what they did last year with the nominees, where all the actors, the previous winners came out?
I love that.
A lot of people did, but I don't think this is also part of, I saw somebody say, because of the Amelia Perez controversy, they don't want to acknowledge somebody who made some bad decisions and tweeted something, there's like, you could say there's some people that don't want to talk about another person. So, I understand that, but it was such a good idea what they had last year.
It was a great idea. It was just like, oh gosh, we not only get to celebrate the winner, we get to celebrate all these former winners at the same time.
Yeah, I really liked that, but Jackie, before you go, I got to ask you one thing.
Ask me.
I remember you like to read sometimes book to film adaptations, and I saw a while ago you saw It Ends With Us. What do you think of all that controversy with It Ends With Us? Is it all messy?
It is. Number one, when I saw the film, I thought, who is this guy who's playing the lead role? I'd never seen him before. I didn't know who he was. And I thought, okay, this is, Blake Lively's pet project. She's the one who got it all together. She and Colleen Hoover, etc. And then all this stuff begins, and it's like, wait a minute, she wasn't in control at all. He was in control. They had this meeting about what was allowed on set. I mean, I would think for this all of them, and I'm putting Ryan Reynolds in there, they need to settle this thing. Yeah. As I'm an old lawyer, and I would be telling my clients, settle it. This is not generating good publicity for anybody. This is hurting everybody. Get it over with. And they aren't listening because it's intensifying more and more every day.
Yeah. I just saw the SNL 50th special, and Ryan Reynolds appeared. It was his first public appearance with Blake Lively since the whole thing went down. And I thought that was a very bold move. And I really wanted to get your take on this situation since you were a lawyer. So I was very interested to hear your thoughts on it. But
what most impressed me about the Saturday Night Live thing?
What impressed you?
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, that that, and then all of a sudden, going back to my old ass, Aubrey Plaza showed up.
Yes, that was her first appearance since her husband's death.
Did you know that she had the tie-dye shirt on? A while back ago, when COVID was going on, she said her husband was due in this tie-dye phase and tie-dyeing shirts. So she wore a tie-dye shirt in honor of him, which I thought that was very, very sweet. And I thought it was good to see her go on Saturday Night Live. I didn't watch all the special, but I saw the clips. I saw the Domingo clip. I saw it like everybody else.
But what I was so pleased is I had heard such bad things about Jack Nicholson's health. Why he stopped his movie career, that he was having some memory issue problems, et cetera, et cetera. He looked fantastic. He sounded great. I was glad to see him.
There was a lot of good people who showed up for the special, but I like the Miley Cyrus and Brittany Howard performance. I thought that was very good. I love seeing Miley Cyrus perform. She's been killing it lately. But I think this is going to wrap up everything. Mac, I want to say right now, I'm very happy to call you one of my best friends, and I'm so proud of all the work we both put into this podcast. I'm trying not to tear up because
It's okay. Let it out.
Yeah. And
we both work really, really
end up with
hard.
again by saying, y'all, 150 episodes of a podcast is not something that comes easy.
No.
And I've known y'all now for 4 or 5 years. I am so proud of what you do and how you do it. It's just amazing.
Thank you. It makes me happy. It makes me happy that you acknowledge our work, but there's other people who have come on. They're so happy to come on and talk. So thank you to anybody who has been on our show in the past. It means a lot. It means a lot. And
Absolutely.
Mac, we make this on a low budget, and I know we put our best foot in, and we got to do some amazing things with our show. But the best thing is I get to do it with somebody who's become like my brother, and I'll always cherish these episodes and our friendship. So cheers, Mac, to another 50.
Cheers.
And thank you to everybody who listens. So it means a lot.
Y'all are the real MVP. Like Kristen says, you keep this train going, and it's just like it's crazy to think. Like I went through a reflective period of like I'm listening to my old radio shows and they sounded god awful. But it was a start. And then, shout out to my friend Jason. He was the original host, and then when he left, I was at a point where I was like, I don't know if I can do this on my own because I'm not really that charismatic. I don't feel like it. And I met Kristen, and we talked more. She has a great infectious personality as well too. And I was just like, wow, I need to bring her on more. And then it's just like knowing her and everything, get to see like our highlights in life and everything, seeing us grow as people in our lives is just awesome. And being able to excitedly do this as it's 60-mile-per-hour winds over. We have a high wind warning tonight. It's just awesome, and it's just something where I'm grateful to do this with you, and I'm happy to do this pretty much to the day I go, and I'm so happy.
To the day we die, we'll keep going with this, regardless what life puts in our way. We'll keep doing this, Mac.
Agreed. But yeah, that's gonna do it here. Jackie, where can the good folks find you?
Just go to YouTube and look for Jackie K. Cooper, and I do 5 movie reviews a week, so you can keep up with the latest movies and my thoughts on them.
Amazing. And Mac, we got to shout out our patrons. Thank you so much to our patrons who support us. We're so happy of that. And thank you all so much for listening. Mac, where can the good people find us?
Yes, and like we mentioned before, thank you to our Patreons. Remember, you can always go on our Patreon. That's the MK Productions Podcast Patreon. You get the first 7 days for free, and after it's $1 a month, you get early access to podcasts, special announcements that we're going to make in our posts. So it'll be a little breakfast club. So come on in. We got cookies available. So link in the description to join below. We're going to be more active on it this year. You can also find us at our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel, the MK Productions Podcast. We are blowing up there. Our videos are getting 30 plus views there, so it's doing pretty good. We're still at 14 subscribers, so subscribe, please. Hit that like button and subscribe. And you can catch us on Instagram, same name, MK Productions Podcast. Everything will be linked in the description below, and also the link for Jackie's stuff will be in the link in the description below. But until next time, thank you for 150 episodes. Here's to 1,000 more. M&K Productions Podcast for the next 100 years, forever and ever. I've been Mac. This has been Kristen. This has been our special guest, Jackie K. Cooper. Until next time, we'll see you all in the next video. Peace.